People of Chaos, a message has just been intercepted from the planet Earth, located on the far side of the galaxy. This may be just the program we need to introduce order into chaos before it's too late. Prepare for receiving message. Message tracked to Japan, east sector of planet, northern hemisphere. Immediate reconnaissance requested. Repeat, immediate reconnaissance requested. Purpose of mission: 1. Investigate meaning of 5S. 2. Study practical examples of 5S in action. 3. Report back in detail. The RPHP and ID5S robots will provide assistance and record all data. Good luck. May the power of improvement be with you.
Back down to Earth. Oh, what a nice place!
Don't forget, your second mission is to find more examples of 5S in action, particularly Step 1. You are not on holiday. It is time to start thinking about natural selection.
Natural selection? What does that mean? Natural selection.
There is a limit to the capacity of nature, so it carefully sorts out what is necessary and what can be eliminated. That is called natural selection.
I see. Thank you. So selection is the key point to clearing up. Well, let's have a look at this factory and what they've done about clearing up.
In the workplace, production naturally generates unnecessary items along with the necessary items. If the unnecessary items pile up and are not eliminated, various problems will develop, and the workplace may actually stop functioning altogether. By definition, natural selection occurs naturally, but that is not the case in the workplace. Every worker has the responsibility to sort out the unnecessary from the necessary, and then to get rid of anything that is not required. This process of selection is the clearing up step of the 5S program.
Question 1. What's the difference between clearing up and organizing?
Clearing up involves sorting out the necessary from the unnecessary and eliminating unnecessary items. Organizing involves fixing the layout of tools and equipment in a functional way so that everything is readily available when needed.
Time to input answer to question 1. Clearing up, sorting and elimination, organizing, functional layout, input complete.
Whoa, this is very neat. A place for every part and every part in its place.
Well, hello. What do you think?
Good morning. It's great, but how does the system work?
Well, when the items required go below the point of ordering, you take out the item with a card. That's the general idea.
But what was it like before improvement?
The room was full of stock stored at random, so it was really difficult to find anything. That was a big problem for us all.
And what did you have to do exactly to improve it?
Well, the main thing was we wanted to make it easy to see all the stock at a glance so that we could take out anything we needed quickly and also be able to check whether the stock was there or not. As a result, we managed to cut the amount of stock in half.
And did you have any other results as well?
The amount we have to spend on stock was also cut in half. And by arranging things properly, we reduced the storage area from 77 square meters down to only 35. As you can see, the space we made available is now used as a computer area.
Here is a good example of stock control. If an order card is placed in the designated order case, whenever the stock reaches the point of ordering, the ordering process goes smoothly. The minimum quantity required is obtained from the supplier and there is never excessive stock. This ideal situation was only reached by undertaking a complete clearing up program, which eliminated everything that was unnecessary. So let's now examine ways in which we can proceed with efficient clearing up, taking a look first at the basic theory and principles.
Time for question 2. What are the main principles of clearing up?
Hey, what's going on? Where am I going? Oh no, what's this? Speak of chaos. Oh, this is even messier than my room back home. Ah, I get it. I've got to clean up. Oh, what am I doing? Cleaning should come after clearing up. Clearing up is the answer. First, decide on the stuff you don't want, and then store things you want to keep. I want this and this. Right.
Of course, this idea applies anywhere. The three major principles of clearing up are: 1. Classify all the items. 2. Eliminate what you don't need. And 3. Find appropriate storage places for things you want to keep. The first principle, classification, involves sorting items by function and frequency of use. It's necessary to decide clearly just how often you use each item. For example, every minute, every hour, once every couple of months, or just once a year at most. Here's an example of a stock warehouse in a factory which has been dramatically cleared up. Let's find out first how they went about classification and how effective the devices they introduced have been.
We put in a lot of effort to draw pictures of each part so that anyone could recognize them. It was also difficult with the layout to make sure items in most frequent use were nearest the workplace. But it was well worth it because we drastically reduced the time taken to get items out of storage.
Next, elimination. This is the process of removing items which have no reason to be there. For example, in your home workshop, you might have these items. Clearly, the knife, fork and spoon can be taken away. But there are always some borderline cases where it is not clear whether the item really should be kept in the workplace or not. In this case, the rope, tape and matches. These should be put to one side at first, and discussion held to decide on an appropriate storage place if it's thought necessary to keep them. Necessary tools should be kept accessible. The basic principle is to search for items which are not in daily use and get rid of them if possible. This stock warehouse was actually created by merging 3 separate smaller warehouses as a result of discovering a lot of duplication of items. Let's take a close look at the efficiency created by the sorting out process.
Our initial aim was a 50% reduction in inventory. We eliminated items that hadn't been used for 2.5 years, and we stopped keeping extra stocks of parts, which we can easily acquire at any time. We installed a card system to make sure that we never run out of stock.
Finally, storage. This involves a search for appropriate storage areas, and then creating a layout and clearly marking everything so that the required items can be taken out by anybody who needs them at any time. Here is an innovative storage idea in use at a workplace where 2 operators work together. This revolving angled stand holds all the tools which are in frequent use. Each one has its storage position clearly marked. This kind of idea can greatly improve efficiency.
Answer to question 2, input start. The 3 basic principles of clearing up are classification, elimination, appropriate storage. Input complete.
And straight on to question 3. Are there standard procedures for clearing up?
Next, we're going to look at a factory with a really efficient system. What's their secret?
The basic idea is to fix storage according to frequency of use. If this is done properly, it means that vital tools such as cutters and screwdrivers will never get misplaced and will always be available in just the required quantity and no more. There is no space available for unnecessary items. And there are the extra advantages that removal of unnecessary items can free a lot of space and also contribute to increased productivity.
Input time, question 3, part 1. Classified by frequency of use and fixed storage. Input complete.
Here are some suggestions as to how often classification should be carried out. Low frequency of use items, those used only once a year or less, should be thrown away or stored somewhere well away from the workplace, preferably outside the factory. Medium frequency of use items, those used not more than once a week or so, should be stored inside the factory but not in the immediate workplace area. High frequency of use items, generally those used more than once a week or even several times a day, should be kept adjacent to the individual workplace or carried by the workers at all times. Obviously, discussion is required to decide which of the low frequency items can be eliminated and also the proper quantity of each item to maintain in storage and at the workplace. Remove all extra items to a distant location.
Answer to question 3, part 2. Remove extra items to distant location. Input completed.
Finally, you must decide what to do with broken or malfunctioning items. Is it possible to repair them, or should they be thrown away? It is very common to find workplaces which keep broken or malfunctioning items on the spot as they are. This is obviously inadvisable and can result in safety or quality problems.
Answer to question 3, part 3. Reuse or eliminate broken or malfunctioning items. Input complete.
Now question 4. Are there standard procedures for elimination?
Here are the 7 points for efficient elimination of unnecessary items. 1. deciding on targets. 2. Sharing responsibilities. 3. Training on how to distinguish unnecessary items. 4. Recording the quantity and nature of items for elimination. 5. Management instruction. 6. Attaching tags. And 7. Eliminating items. Let's look at them in order. The first point is to set targets. These should be bold, specific targets, such as decreasing the number of items by 30% by a certain date, or increasing the available floor space by more than 25%. By setting distinct targets, it becomes much easier to make a decision when you're in two minds as to whether to eliminate some item or not. The next point is the sharing of responsibility. In this case, although the workplace is very clean, the precise areas of responsibility are vague, and a kind of neutral zone has been created between these two operators. Who is responsible for what? It's obviously necessary to establish precise parameters for responsibility and also clarify areas for individuals to clear up. Two factors that can destroy 5S are selfish behavior and relying on others. Next, it's important to complete mutual training in how to distinguish what is unnecessary. Unless you have a full understanding of this, you will constantly have to repeat the same process and waste time. The fourth point is to keep a record of exactly what is eliminated and in what quantity. The point is to make a firm decision that items classified as unnecessary will never be brought back to the workplace once they have been removed. The managers and supervisors have an important role to play in going round the workplace to give advice to operators and check that elimination is proceeding fully. Fully implement use of tags to distinguish problem points in equipment, raw materials or tools. Everyone should develop the habit of attaching tags as soon as some irregularity is noticed. Finally, remove all items which have been allocated for elimination.
Answer to question 4. 7 points for efficient elimination. Input complete.
And now question 5. What are the procedures for storage allocation?
Here are 7 questions to ask to clarify efficient storage allocation. 1. Where are items used? This is clarification of purpose and place of use. 2. Where shall we put items? Items with high frequency of use should be kept near the place of use. 3. What quantity should we keep? Minimum and maximum quantities should be fixed and an ordering point established. 4. How should we keep them? Items should be very accessible. Establish a first-in, first-out system. 5. Are storage places properly indicated? 6. Are indications clear? It's necessary to produce clear plans and drawings, numbering and indications of quantity. 7. Is the person in charge fixed? The responsible person's name should be indicated.
Answer to question 5. Ask 7 questions about storage. Input complete.
I have one more question. Question 6. What effects can you get by clearing up completely?
Now, let's see some examples of people who have applied these principles and find out what happened.
Here is an example of successful stock reduction. They decided to make 2 separate parts into one set. By doing this, they removed the necessity to maintain extra stock. Before this improvement, they had problems with unequal quantities of the 2 items. Now it is simple to tell how much stock is available simply from the number of storage boxes and trolleys. This plant has a display corner for defective tools. Even minor defects become apparent when you fully implement clearing up. Particularly in the case of items that are expensive or difficult to obtain, it may be a good idea to repair them if possible. This can, of course, save a great deal of money and is an important part of clearing up. This used to be a very crowded part of the factory. They decided to aim at reducing the machine area by 30%. They went through a clearing up program twice and eventually succeeded in making a lot of space available. That space is now used for meetings and staff relaxation. With regard to evaluating the effects of a clearing up program, you should keep detailed track of how far you have gone towards achieving your targets and report fully to everybody just how successful the program has been. This kind of feedback is very important in maintaining everyone's enthusiasm and commitment.
Now we have the answer to question 6. Reduce stock, save money, save space. Input complete. Yeah.
Well, to sum it all up, there are two main points to clearing up. First, the ability to distinguish clearly between things. And second, the ability to make decisions about what to do. But you only develop these abilities by actually doing the clearing up yourself. I've really learned a lot here. This completes the second part of our mission. Well, now it's time for us to go back home and start clearing up our own planet.
Mission accomplished. Have you got all the data?
I hope so.
Right, back to space.
Yeah, I could really do with a good sway of chaotic oil.
Me too.
Welcome back to Chaos. Tell us what techniques you have learned this time for bringing order to chaos.